For those of you watching this show regularly, you already know. So let me hold on for a few seconds until the live stream is up and running, which it sounds like it is. Awesome. Let me get started straight away. Let's see if I can get this view a little bit better. No, I think that's kind of like how it's going to be. All right. Welcome to the Master Your Exit Live show powered by The Big Exit. I am Lynn. I'll be your host for today. And on this Master Your Exit Live show, we bring always practical insights, expert interviews with people who have sold their business, and tools to help small business owners like you prepare for your big exit. This live show airs every Tuesday at 7 a.m. in Los Angeles, 10 a.m. in New York, and 3 p.m. in London time. We keep each show short and simple, about maximum 30 minutes. If you're tuning in live on our YouTube channel or on our LinkedIn channel, welcome. If you're joining me here live in our virtual Zoom studio, that's awesome too. You can drop, if you're here in the studio, you can drop all your exit related questions in our studio chat. And we are here to answer them live on this show or on a future episode as well. If you're catching this episode later, so you're watching a replay, that's also possible. You can find all of the episodes on our website, which is thebigexit.co/master your exit shows with a little dash in between every single word. Or you can listen to the audio version on your favorite podcast platform. Now, in today's show, we'll be doing our monthly Q&A session. As you might know or not know, every week we swap a little bit the content of the show, rotating it in like every 4 weeks. So this week we'll be doing a Q&A session where I will be answering a question which came in from one of our listeners slash watchers. So here's the question that I've selected, and I'm going to read it out loud to paraphrase it correctly. So here I go. I'm just going to open up my screen so I can properly read the question. Hey, my co-founder and I are looking to sell our business in a few years. We're not in a hurry, but we want to make sure that we are putting our efforts in the right places. What is the one thing that we should do now that position us better to sell in the future? I'm not going to say who asked this question, as we value confidentiality with all our clients, as well as people who are sending in exit-related questions. We know that confidentiality is super important for any business owner who is looking to sell his or her business in the next couple of years. So I'm not going to say who asked me this question, but the question is all related, like what is the one thing that we should be doing right now to position us better for a sale in the future, with a timeline of, if I got it right, basically a few years. So they're not really in a hurry, or at least that's what they are saying. Now, I wish there was a very straightforward and quick and easy answer to this question that is like, this is the one thing that you should be doing in order to prepare for your exit. Unfortunately, there is no simple answer to this question, because there are a couple of things that influence that answer. And it's the main reason why when we work with clients in the seven-figure exit program, we do like a full-on assessment of a couple of things that will define the answer to the question, what should I be focusing on if I'm looking to sell my business and prepare my exit in the next couple of years? So there are actually three main things that decide or kind of are influencing the answer to that question. Three parameters that will, if we know what they are, we can give you that answer of the one thing that you should be doing to prepare your business for an exit. but we need to have 3 other questions answered first before we can give anybody, whether that's this particular person or any of our clients or you watching this show right now. We need to answer 3 important questions first before we can tell you what that one thing is that you should be doing to prepare your business for a sale. So here are 3 extra questions that need to be answered. First of all, how much time do you have between now and when you think you want to sell your business? And not only how much time do you have, but also how much energy do you have and any other kind of resources that you have available in preparing your business for an exit. So if you're going to ask me, what's the one thing that we should be doing to prepare for an exit? My first follow-up question is, how much time, energy, and resources are you willing to invest? It makes a whole lot of difference if you're thinking of selling within the next 6 months. My answer to the thing that you should be doing then will be different to when, for example, in this case, where the founders are saying we have a couple of years to go and we don't really have a deadline. And that makes sense. Like, let's compare this to selling a house. If you come to me and you're like, I want to sell this house in the next 3 months because of, we're moving abroad and we want to sell this house, then obviously my answer will be different because I'll be focusing on the things that you can realistically do within those 3 months to sell your business or your house in this particular case. Now, 3 months or 6 months is very short. Probably there's not much you could do in terms of making changes. You'll probably want to figure out how much your business is worth right now and putting it on the market straight away, because it will take you 6 to 12 months to probably sell your house from the moment you put it on the market till the moment that the money gets wired on your bank account and the deal is done. Same goes with a business. If you're looking to sell in the next 6 months, then the thing that you should be focusing on right now is getting it on the market, whether that's through a platform or with a broker, and do like the absolute bare minimum that is required to actually make sure that you walk without too many complications through the due diligence process with potential buyers and close the deal within 6 months. And that's already a very short time frame. If you have a couple of years, so you have more time and maybe you have some extra energy and some extra resources to deploy to prepare your business for a sale, then there's more things that you can do. That could be in terms of cleaning up your accounts, cleaning up your legal paperwork and your contracts. It could also mean that you have more time to spend on maybe growing the business a little bit further, so increasing revenue, for example, or maybe you don't have time to increase revenue, but you do have time to increase profitability of the business. So depending on how much time you have, your strategy of the thing that you should be doing to prepare for a business will be aligned to that. So that's parameter number 1. How much time do you have? Because that will decide on like the strategy. Second question to ask is, what's your business worth right now? And what do you want to sell it for? Because if your business is already worth or even more than the amount you want to sell it for, there's not really that much that you should be doing. So basically, my answer then would be keep doing what you're already doing, because you'll be able to find the right kind of buyer in the next couple of years that is willing to offer the price that you are looking to sell for. So same goes with a house. If you're looking to sell your house and you have it valued by an independent real estate broker, and it's actually worth more than what you want to sell it for, then basically there isn't that much to do besides maintaining the status quo and bearing in mind that nothing changes in the market in and of itself. You will be able to sell your business for the amount that you're looking to sell it for anyway. Now, obviously, that's not the reality for most businesses. 9 out of 10 businesses don't actually sell when they're being put on the market. And a lot of businesses are valued way lower independently than what the owner thinks he or she can sell the business for, or what he or she thinks it is worth. So, for most cases, business owners overvalue the value of their business. And by the time that they are bringing their business to market, it's the first time that they get a valuation done. The valuation often is lower than what they think the business is worth. So there's like this value gap. But by the time that they're bringing their business to market, they probably don't have time and energy or other resources left to increase the value of the business. So the second thing to know, besides how much time do you have to prepare, is what's your business worth right now and how much do you want to sell it for? So what's the value gap? If there's no value gap, great. There's not much you should be doing to, make a change in your business. If there is a gap, which is in most of the cases the reality, then you should be thinking about not only what are the things that you could be doing to close that gap, but what are the things that are most relevant and will make the biggest change in closing that gap. So question number 2 is there a value gap and how big is it? And that's related to your first answer in how much time you have. So the reality is for a lot of businesses, there is a value gap. Often the gap is a negative gap. So the business is worth less than what you think it is. And then obviously, if you have time left, you can still make necessary changes to close the gap. If you don't have much time left because you've already make yourself a commitment to do something else after you've sold your business, for example, or you feel burned out or exhausted, when you don't have much time left, there's not much you can do to close the value gap. So whenever you're thinking about selling your business, even in the case of, these people who have sent in the question where they're like, we still have a couple of years to go, we're not in a hurry, please get yourself a formal, independent business valuation done today, so you know how big the gap is with how much you want to sell for. Hence, that already gives you an indication of the things that, are like how much time you have left to be closing that gap. And that leads me to the third follow-on question before we can answer the final question, like what's the one thing that we should be doing to prepare for a sale? The third question is, what do you already have in place and what not? So kind of figuring out the exit readiness of your business. And based on that is finding out those 1 or 2 things that will make the most change in the value of your business and the sellability of your business. So when we work with clients, there are 3 things that we do within the 7-figure exit program. One is how much time left do you have to sell your business? Figuring out that one. So what's the timeline for preparation? Because timeline will decide on what you can do. Secondly, how much is your business worth today versus what you want to sell for? So identifying the value gap. And the third thing is identifying exit readiness. Because if we know what you already have and what you don't have yet, we can then decide with those 3 parameters on the 1 or 2 things that you should be doing that will get your business not only exit ready, but also ready to sell it for the most amount of money possible, keeping in mind that there is market trends that are happening and other things that you can't influence as a business owner. There's things you can influence, which we work on together with you in the 7-figure exit, and there's obviously things that you can't control when you are preparing for an exit and once you start actually putting your business on the market to sell it. So if you ask me what is the one thing that I should be doing to prepare for an exit with my business, I would say First of all, figure out how much your business is worth. We have a free business valuation tool on our website, which is not only free, but it's also independent, which basically means that we don't have any benefit with valuing your business high because we're not interested in listing and selling your business. We have brokers for that we could recommend. We don't have any benefit in selling your business low because we're not interested in getting a bargain deal and buying your business yourself. So go to our website and I'll put the link in the show notes to figure out how much your business is worth today and at least get a range of valuation independently. So that's the one thing. So you identify for yourself the value gap that might be existing. Secondly, also go on our website and get the exit readiness assessment, which is also free. It only takes you a couple of minutes to complete. It's pretty easy and straightforward. There's about 10 questions in there. And based upon that, you get two things. You get an exit readiness score. The lower the score on 100, the lower the score is, the more difficult your business is positioned or the more difficult it will be to sell your business. The higher your exit readiness score, the likelier your business is going to be sold. And based on what you complete in that exit readiness assessment, we will already give you an indication of the things you should be focusing on first in order to increase sellability and value of your business. So I would recommend doing those two things to identify value gap and exit readiness score. And if you're up for more tailor-made support in both the valuation as well as the exit readiness, and on top get like a tailor-made individual exit strategy plan, that's the work that we do within the 7-Figure Exit program, where we analyze all of those pieces of information and then come up with an exit plan. We call it a big exit plan that is tailor-made for you, that you can implement within the time frame that you have told us you want to sell your business for, that you can implement to increase sellability and value of your business. Now, that's all a really big answer to a rather simple question, like what's the one thing that we should be doing to prepare ourselves for selling our business. But that is the reality. There is no simple one thing. So some advisors will tell you, depending on the services that they are selling, they'll tell you you need to put your legal documents in place. That will be the standard answer from a lawyer. People who are in the space of, like creating dashboards for your business will say that you need to have, your KPIs in place. People who are offering services in terms of hiring and building your team or expanding your team, they will tell you that you need to grow your team and release some of your responsibilities to your team, which is a good thing to do, by the way, and it does increase value of your business 100%. Is that the one thing you should be focusing on? Well, it really depends where you're at with your business. Other people will tell you that you need to put your accounts in place. That will be a CPA or an accountant. They'll tell you that your accounts need to be nice and clean, which is also true, but it might not be the priority for you to be working on. So I wish there was one straightforward answer to give you in terms of the one thing that you should be doing, but there is not. It really depends on your time frame, how much time you have, the value gap that is there, and your exit readiness for your business. And based on those 3 parameters, there is 1/2 things you should be focusing on that will increase the most dramatically the value and the sellability of your business. So I hope this answers that question. Use the free resources that we have on our website, and I'll put the links in the show notes to our valuation tool and our exit readiness tool. And based upon that, at least you can already figure out for yourself not only how much time you have left to sell, but also the value gap and the exit readiness score. So feel free to use those free resources on our website to at least figure out for yourself where you are today. That being said, depending on the timeline that you have, also keep in mind that very often we work with clients who have thought in the past that they had a lot of time to prepare their business for a sale. They were like, oh, it's, like a couple of years down the line. We'll figure this out once we are there and we're really thinking about selling. And then they kind of wait too long and they don't have that much time left because they underestimate how much time it takes to prepare a business for a sale. We often say it takes anywhere between 1 to 3 years to prepare a business for an exit. So keep that in the back of your mind. You have fewer time probably than you think. There's that part. And another set of clients that we work with the Big Exit is clients who have had someone reach out to them to sell their business, and then the deal falls through because they were not prepared in all kinds of situations, in the sense that their documents weren't ready, their accounts weren't ready, the owners weren't ready, the team wasn't ready, there were no SOPs in place. There were a whole bunch of things that eventually led to them not being able to sell their business. And then they come to us because they're like, we don't want this to happen again. It was a horrible experience and it was super stressful. We learned a lot from it, but we don't want this to happen again. And we want to be prepared next time around when, we get pitched by a potential buyer to buy our business. So that's a little bit of a side note to wrap up the show for today. So let me wrap this up. The question that we had for the show today was, we're looking to sell our business in the next couple of years. We're not in a hurry. What's the one thing that we should be doing to prepare for an exit? And there's no short answer to that. There's no one thing that you should do, but there are 3 follow-up questions that are important. How much time do you have? Is there a value gap? And how exit ready is your business right now? You can figure those things out with the free tools that we have on our website. If you sign up for the 7-Figure Exit program, we will help you define more in depth the answer to those 3 questions, and we'll develop a exit readiness or an exit value strategy plan, an exit readiness plan for you that focuses on the 1 or 2 things you and your business, with what it's worth today, what you have in place, and the timeline that you got, is like the 1 or 2 things that you should be doing that will make the biggest impact on exit readiness and value. So that's a wrap for this week's Master Your Exit live show. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're leaving with some valuable insights on how to prepare your business for your big exit. Now, remember, you can catch the replay of this episode and all of the other episodes, which I think is like 23, if I'm correct. You can find all of those replays on our website at thebigexit.co/master-your-exit-shows, or listen to the audio version on your favorite podcast platform. Now, I'd love to hear from you as well. You can send in your exit questions before next week's show by heading over to thebigexit.co/master-your-exit sign up. When you click on that link, you can sign up there and send in all your exit-related questions so we can answer them live on future episodes, just like we've done today. We'll be back next week, Tuesday at 7 a.m. in Los Angeles, 10 a.m. in New York, or 3 p.m. in London, to give you tips, expert interviews, and tools to help you master your exit. Until then, keep building, keep preparing, and we'll see you next week.